All right, so we just got out of Avengers Endgame. What did you guys think?
Epic.
Amazing.
That last hour, though.
It was inevitable.
No spoilers, but I think you guys are going to really like this. Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. Today we're going to be talking about Avengers Endgame. And just real quick guys, just a heads up that you don't have to worry about spoilers, at least in this review. This is going to be a non-spoiler review. I'm going to do this one, and then I am going to do a spoiler review probably later this weekend, give people a couple days to, see the film. So yeah, you don't have to worry about spoilers. I want you guys to have the same experience that I did going into this film. It was, really hard to avoid everything, to stay out of those comment sections, because I did go into them last night and stuff is everywhere. So stay out of those comment sections, Twitter, etc., stuff like that. And but yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the movie. So, as being as vague as possible, the film is basically, it obviously takes place after the events of Infinity War. The snap wiped out, half of the life across the universe. And the Avengers are left pretty much broken and, disbanded. They lost half of, their people as well. And they're trying to figure out how to move on and what to kind of do next. And that's all I'm going to say pretty much about the plot, because one of the first things I want to say about the film too is just bravo to Disney, Marvel for the marketing for this film. Fantastic job, because the stuff that because I did see quite a few of the different trailers and spots like that, and it really doesn't give away much. So, and that's awesome. Just anytime you can go into a film and have quite a few things surprise you, it's great. It's good to not see a lot of the information in the trailers that, some of the big moments spoiled. So bravo as far as that goes. But as far as, the film, starting out, I know this is one thing that I've seen a couple people mention as kind of like a negative, but to me it isn't. It does start off a little bit slower. There is, there's definitely a lot of buildup, but in my eyes, like I said, that's not really a negative for me, because I feel like it was actually kind of a nice, change of pace, because Infinity War was pretty, this, going these different places. So it was a nice change of pace, and I also feel like you needed that build up in the beginning to get what you end up getting later on in the film, and I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, so the beginning was definitely like a lot of build up, but there were some really cool character moments, even, throughout the beginning parts. Even in the middle and stuff like that. But man, when we get to that last hour and a half hour of the film, shit really hits the fan. And you guys, I'm telling you right now, you guys are not ready for that, especially if you are big Marvel fans like myself. There is some crazy stuff that goes down in that last hour. And talk about just some epic moments. I mean, the crowd I was with, they were awesome. People were screaming, yelling. I'm sure people were probably standing on their feet. I almost wanted to. I felt like it a couple times. And yeah, so it was just insane, some of the stuff that happened in that last act. Some of the shots that they have, you're just like, is this really happening right now? So you guys, I think, are going to really appreciate that. Some really cool fan service, some moments that people, I feel like, have been waiting a long time to happen. And that's one of the other things too about this movie is going into this, I had, and I know, a lot of people had certain predictions or things that they thought, theories that would maybe happen in this movie. And some of those did. And then, some of them didn't. But then you also had some stuff that was not expecting at all to happen. And it did. So that was really cool to have some of those surprises, sparkled throughout the film. So, I just had a blast with this movie. And there's not only, epic scenes like that, but you also sprinkled throughout the film, there's a good amount of, as you could, I imagine you guys would expect, there is definitely some emotional scenes in this film. And I will say that I definitely teared up a couple times. It was 3 or 4 times. So I would say that's probably the most ever in a movie for me. And I definitely wasn't alone. You could hear, I was there with my girlfriend and then my 2 other friends as well. all of us pretty much got emotional at most of the same times in the film, and you could just hear it was quiet, and you could just hear people, just sniffling in the background and all around us. So it was crazy. Overall, it was just a blast. A really good experience. I go to this theater every time there's a big film, like as you guys know, Jordan's IMAX, and we got there. It was like 3-4 hours in advance, and it's not a reserved seating theater, which kind of sucks in a way, but does kind of make the experience a little bit fun too. So we were waiting there for 3 hours. People were there for the 10 o'clock showing like 7-8 hours ahead of time. So that was crazy. Everyone was hyped. And, once the movie ended, everyone got out, and you can tell everyone really enjoyed this film. So I think, if you've been invested in this cinematic universe for the past 22 movies, I think you guys are really going to like this film. I think it definitely wraps everything up pretty nicely because, this is the end of Phase 3. There are still more Marvel movies coming out. I know some people think that this is like the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but we do have like Spider-Man, Black Panther, a couple different films, and, some they have yet to announce, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe is still continuing, so don't worry about that. But it is a good way to kind of wrap up what they've done so far. And I think for what they had to do, what they had to manage, props to the Russo brothers because they did a incredible job, tying up quite a bit of, story arcs and stuff like that. So, like I said, I had a really good time with this. I think that you guys, like I said, you're going to really enjoy this, especially if you're, a big Marvel fan like myself, like my friends and, girlfriend are. But I could see, even if you're not, I think you'll still get quite a bit of enjoyment out of this film. Now, kind of going into that too, now, do you have to see every single, Marvel movie to enjoy this movie? I don't think you have to necessarily see every single one, but I think it definitely is recommended to have seen probably a good amount of them, or at least some of the major films in the past, because I think that's definitely you're gonna know what's going on with like certain moments, and it's gonna kind of tie in things better for you. So highly recommend, if you haven't, probably check out some of the like the previous Avenger films, but also some of the other big Marvel films and the franchise as well. So now, as far as end credits go, I will give you guys a heads up that there is no end credit scene. However, we did stay for the credits, and that was just really cool to look at. So I highly recommend just staying for them. It's cool to see what they did with the credits. But there is a little something once the credits, I believe it was once the credits were done, you hear a little something. So definitely, stay around for that. Pretty much everyone in my theater did, because at this point, there's always an end credit scene. So there isn't an end credit scene, but there is a little something at the end. So recommend staying for that. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this movie. Go ahead and leave your comments down below. Make sure to not put any spoilers. I will delete those. But make sure to let me know what you guys thought, and I will do a spoiler review in a couple days, like I said. Overall, this film, I say it's a 9.5 for me. I had a blast of a time. That, like I said, that last hour and a half is incredible. So much fun. Just overall, just a great movie experience. And I hope you guys, like it just as much as I did. So leave your comments down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. And as always, make sure to check back for more Pop Culture with Pat.